Let's go.
Said it's your boy, P Original, Mr. Influential. Hot topic conversation, stimulate your mental. Two cool brothers, same father, same mother. If you're looking for a show like this, you'll never find another. Why? Cause it's the Porch Podcast to come on. Yeah, said it's the Porch Podcast. Yup, said it's the Porch Podcast to come on. Yeah, said it's the Porch Podcast.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Porch Podcast. Welcome to the Porch Podcast. It's your boy, DJ E, Mr. Influential, and I'm rocking with my brother, man.
P Original, baby. Welcome back, y'all. Y'all know as we say each and every week, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time, y'all. Episode number 214, man. Rolling right along.
Right.
Rolling right along. Right. Pardon me last week, y'all, with the whole center camera thing. It mean nothing to you. If you're listening to this, then you didn't see any of the cameras. But if you're watching this and you did see it, and it was a little bit different, no excuses, just an apology. Back to this week's episode.
We appreciate your apology, but you know what, man? That's what we want to do. I want y'all to clap it up for P Original for shooting. I don't know how many good-looking, successful shows in a row, so I ain't even worried about that. Clap it up again for him, man. Yeah, you know. I understand. I know my brother. He felt like if he ain't like it, y'all ain't like it. You know what I mean?
Straight like that.
Yeah, I know it is, but hey. And the people that's listening in any of their favorite podcasts and streaming sites, they ain't even see it.
Yeah.
Since I say that, if you are listening, if you don't watch our video, please go to our YouTube page at The Porch. The Porch on YouTube and subscribe. Like, you'll see them. You'll see the episodes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He said,
Porch Podcast.
It's free. It ain't going to cost you a dime. Just a little bit of time. You know what I mean?
And that rhyme.
That's it.
Let's clap it up one time for that. That was good.
It goes further than you know. You know what I mean? We do look at the little analytics and things like this, and we realize that people do watch the show.
Mm-hmm.
But, it would help the show grow even more.
Right.
Without further ado, though, man, as always, man, how was your week, bro? Since last time we, seen each other.
That was good. My shoulder was just itching right there. I'm sorry. Right. Our week was good, man. Blessed. You know what I mean? I'm grateful.
Absolutely.
Relax. Just did my regular 1-2. Just relaxed. And, of course, was productive. So as long as you got a healthy, productive, spend time with family week, that's a rich week right there.
I was going to say,
It's nothing better than that. Only thing that bothered me was the loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. I see. You already.
Sorry. Trying to figure something out.
What you trying to figure out?
Nah.
You got a cold? Why was you putting that on your face? You got a little cold?
My face. So it's kind of like it's an option that I have.
You do have that option, but I don't understand.
No, I just, while you were saying what you're saying, the floor was yours. I didn't do nothing. It's moved. It's like I said, allergy season.
Right.
Just wipe your face off a little bit.
Right.
That's all it was. You know what I mean? Now if you feel something like that about it, They say a hit dog or holler.
Yeah, hit dog or holler.
You know what I'm saying? I will say this, great game.
Great game. It definitely was a great game.
Was a great game, so.
Let's clap it up for both teams.
Absolutely. Shout out to the Bucks.
Yeah. Shout out to the Eagles.
Furthermore, me and you don't get a dime for those games.
Nah.
I'm quite sure there were some people that were upset that
I'm gonna say this. I think it was
some stuff up at their house, TVs and everything.
It was a great game. My quarterback and my running back, were both said that it was their fault.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just them knowing that they just want to work better. They want to be hard. But you got to understand and why I didn't want them to be so hard on themselves, because when you look at both plays, first with Bucky Irvin, I believe he was down, but I'm not. The call was called the way it was called. No big deal on that. But the great defense that y'all played is what led to all of that in the first place.
Yeah.
And then the pick in the end zone, it was tipped. Because I do believe if it was a tip, it would have been a touchdown. I do believe that. I believe Chris Godwin would have brung that one in.
Hey, bro.
Got a touchdown his first game back after being out for a year, all that type of stuff. So I didn't want them to be hard on themselves because it was great offensive play, but just better defense in those two plays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all it is. Because both teams were very capable.
Nah,
you know what I mean?
It was a full game, but I mean, it was like all of the other battles.
Yeah.
All of the other encounters. I mean, with the exception of, like, generally speaking, y'all have had our number. Y'all have given us a very difficult time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, all the games, for the most part, like, have been, challenging. It hasn't been no – I told you yesterday, bro, you know what I mean? And I got to mention this real quick before we go any further, you know what I mean? As a new subscriber, for lack of terms, of cord cutting, you know what I mean? A new streamer for more than anything else, had an experience, it's kind of tough, right? You watching TV, for the people who still have cable, whatever it is, maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah, people who ain't cut the cord yet.
Who ain't cut the cord yet, right? Right. And you watching TV. If your TV has a little bit of a delay, compared to the person that you watching TV with, you try, right? Yeah. I don't know if you're like me. I mean, you might could care less. Yeah. I don't know. You got some people be like, I don't care nothing about it. And to those people, I get it.
It's so big of a gap.
But when the gap is like, two and a play and a half, 2.5 plays, it's like it's
not
tough.
2.5 plays.
I mean, I didn't really like.
It was about a whole minute apart though.
And what's funny is because I was like back and forth between that and the red zone.
Yeah.
I never truly knew.
Yeah. What was happening?
Yeah, because I heard the audio. But the screen, I had something else on the screen, totally different. But needless to say, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was weird, right? Because it's like, and you like, I don't know if that's a good one or it's a bad one. You know what I'm saying?
And then you get it.
And then it happens, and you be like, oh, that must be what they was talking about.
Right. Hey, yo, you know how many times you was like that with me? I'll be like, come on, man.
I probably did that a lot of times.
And I said it, and guess what? Yeah. You just kept going with it, right? I had to say, hey, you know how many times I said, I hate you, man?
Well, that's what happened ultimately, y'all. Yeah. Like, and not to mention, it seems like this too, E. When we wasn't on the phone, my team was playing better. Yeah, I kind of, but then again, you looked into the future already, so you already knew. Like when I told you, I call you back, you was like Eagles won already. Yeah. I'm like, it's the third quarter on my TV. Like your joint was that far ahead. You know what I'm saying? I almost felt like I was watching it on NFL Network. Like the
it was crazy how I was watching it, and I won't tell y'all how I was. And I was ahead.
Don't matter, man. You was ahead. That's the best main part about this.
I was more alive than you know what I mean?
Way more than my joint. I don't know about everybody else's, but you know what I'm saying? It was halftime at my house. He was like, it's just 3 minutes left in the third.
No, it wasn't.
I was like,
it wasn't like that, man. It wasn't like that. That's how they were saying the Mike Tyson fight was, though, on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. All depends on how you watched it. But nah, I will say that it was a great game. It's only week 4. There's a lot of things that are, developing in front of us. Even with the situation, the aftermath of us getting that win. People was talking about the situation with A.J. Brown being upset. And I get it. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I get it because I understand that, when you're a player who prides himself on, every week, being a big deal, a big part of the situation, I guess you feel different. I mean, he was a hero the week before in the L.A. game. Yeah. With the Rams. This week, you know what I mean? I give some credit, and I will say this because they blaming the OC. And then on top of blaming the OC, there's this thing where it's like, and it's the part that I think people will overlook more than anything else. That team's not a scheme for certain people. Yeah. Right? Like Saquon didn't have a crazy game. Yeah. Did he score? He scored.
He scored, yeah.
I mean, the play looked like it was like, oh, what was that?
Yeah, because they thought Jalen Hurts was going to keep the ball.
Right. You know what I mean? Look at what it took. Right. Now, I ain't trying to be funny, but it ain't like last year it was like, Saquon for 47 yards on that one. But you ain't seen one of them yet. Now, I'm not saying that that's not possible, but what I mean is that people scheme for them. Right. Right? Dallas Goedert had a monster game yesterday. Mm-hmm. You got to pick your poison. I think Tampa said it's cool. Dallas going to have to go off. Yeah. It ain't gonna be number 11. Yeah. And it ain't gonna be 26. Yeah. And you know what I mean? One had a good first half, and in the second half, one was having a little bit of a tough time.
I'm going to give the juice out here right now. Listen.
What juice you about to get?
Crazy.
That was super. What juice you get? And you can't use this.
Yeah, listen.
He gonna get a juice out.
I'm going to give y'all the game.
That was
really,
way
If
easier.
you really want to know how to scheme against the Philadelphia Eagles, right, this season, the best game film to watch is the Super Bowl. Because what they're doing now was the plays, they started this in the Super Bowl. Because they were scheming for Saquon and AJ. And this is how Jalen Hurts became the MVP. Because if you look at it now, any big play he's a part of, whether he's running a touchdown, little shuffle pass here, like, all you gotta do is watch the Super Bowl. Watch the Super Bowl as your game film to study against. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
you'll see glimpses of everything that you're seeing right now. Glimpses.
I don't know. All I'm gonna say is it was a
Tell
good
you.
game. I think that once again there's a culmination of things that transpired in that game that made it good.
Yeah.
The outcome of it was the outcome of it, you know, which I'm very happy with. You know, what I mean, it was more favorable for me.
Somebody gotta lose, man.
But one of the things that I admire more about that game than anything else, and I'm not just saying this because I'm an Eagles fan, and I ain't gonna spend a bunch of time on this because I know y'all ain't tuning in for this. It did happen, you know. I admire his poise, Jalen. I admire his poise because he's on a team with a lot of young, talented people, and I did see that in the game yesterday. There's some things that composure-wise, if these guys, because they're uber talented, can like master like some of these explosive moments. Like Mitchell had some good plays yesterday, but then it was a moment where, you know, and I understand it's the game of football, you know. Oh, they're about to fight. Everybody on that out there was rich.
Yeah.
Like everybody, there's nobody out.
rich.
Everybody's rich that's out there. You can call it what you want to call it. You know what I mean? But everyone out there is rich. What are we really fighting about? We got helmets on. We got shoulder pads. We got all these things on. You know what I mean? So, only thing I would say is I think that I admire his poise more than anything else because, once again, there's a lot of uber talented people on the team. But as a leader of that team, and I seen somebody say this the other day, they said he's not a leader.
Yeah, but he keeps his poise.
He said that Jalen Hurts isn't a leader, and I said that's fine. I mean, who am I to contest
Their
what
opinion.
their opinion?
But he is a leader.
But I, you know, I would say this: if he's not a leader, then what's a leader? Like, just tell me what you think a leader is, and it got to be, and then, you know, whatever you like. Like a leader, like a quarterback that's a leader in the league. Who do you think a leader right now? Just a leader as a quarterback.
Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts,
Okay.
Josh Allen.
Okay.
That's those are the three people all
That's
the
cool.
time.
That's
that
cool.
come
You-
out.
ain't no set number?
And Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, you going there?
Yeah. No, I want to do 5. At least
Okay,
5.
you got 4.
That was 4.
Yep.
And I'm not saying he's not a leader, but it's just looking who's playing more of a leadership role this season. I gotta go. I really gotta go. Even though they lost yesterday, Justin Hubert.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's fine. Now, what's the common denominator between those guys? And they're all different players. I'm not saying what's the same thing that's about Jalen, about this person. What's the common denominator for you to say that those 5 people, you're just highlighting them as leaders? There's others. I know you just said you wanted to pick 5.
Mm-hmm.
What's the common denominator for those people? Like, what is the common thing that would allow them to fall in your 5 in terms of leaders in the situation?
What did
they show? Like, what's the common?
What
what's
do
the
they all
common
lock
thing?
in that? Well, number one, they come in with a winning attitude,
Okay.
but control their passion.
Mm-hmm.
Because what they do is do their job well as I have to control my energy, not just from my emotions, but when I'm on the field too. All of these guys are protecting the ball pretty much well. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they're taking their time every inch of the way, like of trying
Absolutely.
of the game.
Absolutely.
But really, even when they get in a passionate moment, they got to stay poised because they don't want to play angry. They want to play determined.
Okay.
And I see that with all 5 of them.
I know you have and the reason why I asked you that because I'm quite sure there's a criteria. Like you didn't pick those guys because you just
Honestly,
thought they was cool.
just to
Like what's the
just to bring it all together,
Yep.
a quick way to do it. They all showing a great deal of emotional intelligence.
Me just piggybacking off what you said, right? And using the same 5 gentlemen, just using them as an example. I ain't gonna come up with a new list or nothing like that. Using those same 5 gentlemen. I think leadership, the number one trait in leadership to me is leaders will never ask you to do something that they won't do.
Right.
So when they tell you to go out there and leave it all out on the field, you don't ever have to look over your shoulder and wonder if that's what they're doing.
And they're doing that.
Because they're doing it
All
every
of
time,
them.
right?
All of them.
So that's a common denominator. And you can take it out of sports and go into anything. Every leader that you know, that you would consider to be one, they will never ask you to do something that they're not willing to do themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You be a leader at your job. You got guys
True
who
that.
own businesses. You'll look down there with you. They're just as dirty as you are, working their own business. To me, that's a major trait. I'm not saying it's the only one, but I think it's a major trait for leadership.
Right.
So I do think that he is a leader, and I'm not saying it because, like I said, as an Eagle fan, but I think that he shows a number of things. Poise in those moments where he could actually fold or crumble, even in the terms of celebration. Some people get on him because he don't celebrate enough. You know what I mean? He's not aware enough of it on his face. But then when he won the Super Bowl, when they won the Super Bowl and he slid down the wall and he was sitting there chilling.
That Kobe Bryant moment.
And so, when you look at certain things, man, you got to remember at the end of the day, everybody views certain terms that are very influential, like yourself, differently. But I think everybody knows that there's a common denominator in some of those things.
If you had to pick an all-time leader in sports of all time, and because of that trait that you're talking about, who would you pick?
Just one?
Of all time, matter just one. I know you could pick multiple, but that trait that you're talking about.
In any capacity, sports world or anything?
Yeah, in sports. And in sports. For any sport.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, we all on the move, y'all. I got something for y'all today that's going to make you go wow when you see it. I got something that, because you got to travel anyway, you're on the move, whether it's business or leisure or whatever it may be, right here. Right here. Super dope bag from a super dope company called Ugly Duckling. Makes men and women apparel, top-notch stuff, quality stuff. Let me stop talking about it and let y'all see the bag. That's really what you want to see anyway, right? First off, can we talk about how it come in a nice little netted bag here? You know what I mean? I think that's pretty good. Logo on the front right here, Ugly Duckling. Can we look at the quality of the stitching? Look at the stitching, y'all. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now you check this out. You see how you got the swan? Yeah, that's nice, right? We're going to take our time. We're going to turn around and hit it with this right here. Bam! See that on the back? They ain't spare no expense. Bam! Look at this in the back. Huh? I didn't put that on there. That's part of it, bruh. That's part of it. That's part of what it comes with. Look at the style. They want to make you... Ugly Duckling. Oh, Ugly Duckling. Yeah, that's who made this right here. Yeah, uglyduckling.com. Oh, yeah, got this. And a whole bunch of other stuff. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Y'all know I ain't gonna keep no secrets from y'all when I find a company that do it right. Huh? It's only right that I share this with y'all. So you make sure, if you in the market right now for some top quality apparel, i.e. look at my young vet salute, Jersey Cat apparel, and now, Ugly Duckling. Make sure y'all go check them out, man. Check that website out. I'm telling y'all, man. You're gonna love it. All right? That's all I got to say about that. But make sure y'all go to today for this bag and all the other super dope stuff they got. Y'all be good. I got a trip I'm on. I'll see y'all later. Get y'all bag. I got mine. Peace, man. Woo.
I would say definitely 2 specifically that I want to highlight.
Go ahead.
They're the 2 that you know. The 2 that I would say, if I had to put a third in there, would be LeBron as the third.
Okay.
But the 2 is Mike, in my opinion, Jordan, and Tom Brady. Those 2, not just because of that win mentality, but they're infectious, right? once again, to me, one of the leadership qualities is they will never ask you to do something they won't do. And all three of those names I just said, now, I'm quite sure there's some people that would say, well, there's some other names. And yeah, I'm quite sure.
Believe it or not, number one for me, Kobe.
Okay, as a leader?
As a leader. I say that because what you saying, all of them had that win mentality, right? And LeBron is behind all three of them, Kobe, Mike, and Tom Brady. Because Tom Brady, football-wise, that's it. Football-wise to me. But I say Kobe because even after he was no longer on the Lakers, he was on one of these Tonight shows, and they were showing the Lakers, the young boys on the Lakers, when the Lakers was like trash and super losing, they playing around and laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And when they come back from that video, Kobe like this. Now, he done been retired. It's like, why is they playing, man? They losing. Like, it ain't time to play. He was still like that.
Mm-hmm.
For that team, and he's done. Like, he wanted to go back and if he could go back and swing on them, he would. You get what I'm saying? I forgot. I don't know if it was like Jimmy Kimmel or some show like that, but he showed him that. And when it came back, Kobe, and it wasn't no act. You could see it in his like that Mamba mentality. You know how his face would just change. You could see it, and I'm like, yo, that's a true leader. Who still cares, even though he's no longer has nothing to do with it anymore.
I don't have no argument against that. One reason I'll say that is especially, there was a Dream Team documentary. I forget it. I think it's the Redeem Team, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And they talked about how nobody can get in the gym before him.
Yeah.
Like nobody. You know what I mean? And there's an ethic, there's a work ethic that I think that leaders have to exemplify. So I'll definitely say that he's definitely has leadership qualities and stuff like that. I just think that what we live now in is an emotional world. Mm-hmm. People don't see emotion a certain way, and then they start wondering, he ain't got enough passion. So if you're too passionate, you can't control your emotions.
Right.
If you don't show any emotion, then you don't have any passion.
That's BS.
Right? Ain't that kind of crazy though? Like, I don't know if you noticed the same thing, but like, BS. So it's like funny because when I was like listening to the person and then I was like saying to myself, I'm like, well, it seems to me like they're drawing that conclusion based on not seeing enough emotion. Mm-hmm. That's weird.
That's what's funny is
that's weird, bro.
I use it like, and Tom Brady was saying it during the game. They asked Baker Mayfield when did he know that Ibuka was special, right? Mm-hmm. Because they already saying not just the best rookie receiver, he's one of the best receivers in the league this year. They're saying that, right? And then Baker Mayfield said, believe it or not, day 2. He said, I was showing him a scheme. He stopped me and told me I was wrong. And I looked and was like, you know what? He is right. I said, okay, he paying attention. Right? Brady said, even if he was right, I'd be like, man, shut up, man. I'm the quarterback.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
Yeah. So that what I'm saying is, both of them are great leaders. It's just different approaches.
He recognized it, though.
Yeah, he recognized it.
But that's another thing that leaders...
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. He recognized
because it goes back to what you just said. It's not like because I'm a leader, I got to be dominant. Mm-hmm. No, I'm so much of a leader that I can tell you that I can accept that I'm wrong right now. You're right. Mm-hmm. That lets me know that I can trust you.
No question.
That's it.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's when you came underneath, the tutelage of somebody who took the time to, show you if you want to lead, you got to be able to follow. So in that situation, like you said, okay, and we look back at the play, Now, the thing that Tom said, more jokingly than anything else, you know what I mean? You was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to be a leader, show me in this moment where you can turn around and say, you know what, Rook, I was wrong. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You was right. I'm the QB and all that. Because I don't think Ibuka don't have respect for what
Baker Mayfield
Baker's saying. Yeah. But if he's like, bro, I'm looking at it like, that's not.
Right.
No, as you know what I mean. So there's that situation.
Yeah.
Point being, in all of those things, man. Once again, we live in a society where if you aren't showing emotion, they equate you to not being a person who has passion. And without passion, you can't lead.
Right.
And that's what they think. You know what I mean? And composure. These are things that they overlook. Like you in a household, I don't care whatever household you look at. Every household, if it's what I would call an intact household, there's a parent that is much more calmer than the other. They just handle things differently. And when I say calm, I don't mean walk around the house and cuss the kids out and this, that, and third. I mean just in the middle of the fray of things. There's one who is very stable. Even when the storms are moving around and there's things that's developing, there's that one that's like, yo, everything's fine. You're like, yo, you don't feel that? Yeah, I feel it. Trust me, everything's fine. That to me is a quality that gets under appreciated, right? Because of the fact, once again, we live in such a emotional society. We live in such a world that's like that. You look at a situation like, I don't know if y'all knew anything about it, and this is not the sports review about everything that's snapping negative in sports. It's just something that
It's just what we're talking about.
that's what we're talking about. We came across it.
We're on the porch right
Terrence Bud Crawford, I guess, a few hours after a parade that they had for him after winning the fight against Canelo, you know what I mean, was in the way that the article was written, don't quote me on it because I didn't write the article. The way that the article was written was, Terrence Crawford held at gunpoint hours after, celebration for beating Canelo. And when I first heard it, like I said, I mentioned to you, we both went to the same place. Like, you know what I mean? Well, was he in Vegas? Nothing against that, but was he where the fight took place? Was he moving around and people were, you know what I mean? He was home, right? And I guess it, was a situation with the authorities. And then it was a situation where, supposedly they saw a firearm in the vehicle. But when it was all said and done, everybody got out the vehicle. Everything, was legal. Everything was registered. And, basically they, released him because of supposedly they had some kind of situation where whoever was driving recklessly, is what was being said. But they said he was released with no charges. We got to remember, man, we live in a world where we got to be, careful.
Right.
For a number of reasons. Like, there was a time when you thought that you just had to become successful, and if you reached a certain level of success, you didn't have to worry about nothing else. Everything was cool. Life would just be great. Once you reach success, that was it. That was the epitome of the mountaintop, right? You get there, I don't have to worry about nothing. I ain't got to worry about money. I ain't got to worry about, like you said, mistaken identity. I ain't got to worry about a joker making statements about me that ain't true. I ain't got to worry about none of that. That's not this world that we live in, is it? Because as a matter of fact, it's the other way now. The greater your success, the greater the test. The greater you go up in the sky, or the greater that you go up the ladder of success, there are new, and I hate to say it like this, they say for every new level, there's a new devil, right? And so there's some things that you're going to still encounter as you're going up. We got to be mindful that no matter what, there's a certain concept of how we got to carry ourselves, regardless of any kind of wealth increase or any of those things. We got to be smart, man. We got to make decisions that's going to be conducive to our safety, but also realize that we live in a world right now where, people would love to take you from the top. We talking about leadership.
Yeah.
We talking about leadership. The people that we talked about, every one of the people that we talked about made a mark in the sports world, every one of them. All the names I said, all the names that you said, they're still playing. Some of them now, obviously, you know what I mean, as far as the top 5 with the NFL quarterbacks, they're all playing right now. We got to be smart, man.
Gotta be, bro.
You know what I mean? We gotta make sure that we're making those those adjustments and doing the things that we need to do. That's what it comes down to. So. But it's unfortunate. All those stories are unfortunate. They're unfortunate because, like I said, I think that once again, the misconception is that all you gotta do is become successful.
We are all successful because, again, how you spend your time, how you spend your
Yesterday's goal was as good as yesterday.
Okay.
Right. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
right.
whatever you did or didn't accomplish yesterday is great, but it's never going to be enough for the next day.
Right.
It's like whatever you got to, you know what I mean?
Yesterday was yesterday.
Yesterday was, so like whatever
Today
your goal was, today is a new day. And so, like, developing that concept to understand, like, I got to continue to stay hungry. I got to continue to stay passionate. You know, doing a lot of conversating with you, my wife. Like, we've been talking about a lot of the things that I can be honest with. I said to one of our friends, a very good friend of ours, like a brother to us, I had a conversation with him. I said, you know, when it comes to life, dreams, goals, and aspirations, you're only doing one or two things. You're either feeding it or starving it. There is no situation where it's if, ands in between. You're either feeding it or starving it. So whatever you want to do in life, if that's why I ask the question all the time, are you actively doing anything towards the thing that you say that you want to do more than anything else in your life? And the person says, as soon as I get some time, I tell them you're starving it.
Yeah.
It's dying every day. You're starving it.
No, for real. And if something don't eat, it don't live. I was about to say that. You know what I mean? Some people live to eat. You're supposed to eat to live.
Right.
You know what I mean? But some people live to eat.
Right. Like, we made it cool. Foodies.
Yeah.
What's a foodie? Oh, man, I love food. That made them a foodie?
You're right. They was living to eat.
Mm-hmm.
But they took that, and the foodies who actually are what you call content creators and took it and get paid for what they do, they're eating to live.
Absolutely.
It's a difference. So it's all where your mind state at and how you reverse it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because we always know that the solution is the opposite of the problem.
Pretty much.
All the time.
Pretty much, man.
You know
I mean, we have found ourselves in a world where most of the answers to our questions are always right there. They're right next to it. Right next to it, right? It ain't like you got to really look different.
Yeah.
You know, look that deep. Like I said, even the concept we've been talking about today as far as leadership, there's a lot of good leaders out there.
Right.
There's a lot of people that set good examples. You know what? You're more susceptible to meet a leader who is more benefiting for you in your life, who you don't know personally, than knowing them personally. And I know that sounds crazy because we came up in a time where it was like, yo, you need to get around that uncle that really, you know, does this. Or if you ain't got that father that sets that example, you ain't got that brother or that, you know, you need to have somebody. And now, I'm not trying to be funny, but you have so many different places where you can actually look and see what true leadership, you know, what purpose looks like, and dedication and hard work and all of these other things.
They open up Pandora's box.
Right?
And they show the world to us.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, they opened, and that's a great point. But, like, before, we seemed like we were kind of like, you know, because it was not.
It wasn't as televised.
I'm not going to say it was a secret, but it was so dull.
Not televised. I mean, polarized.
Publicized, right.
But, yeah.
But it was one of those things where before it was so dog eat dog.
Yeah.
That even if you did find somebody after a while, but I won't teach them but so much because they want to take my spot.
But now, I really believe that the reason why it's no longer, it's because dog eat dog is still out there. It's still out there. It'll never die. You know what I mean? The crabs in the barrel mentality. But because you have so many people that's speaking on motivation and positivity and sharing wealth and sharing that, because those people are understanding what the true success is.
Exactly.
Is me, I got enough. So if I manage what I got and help other people, I'm gonna keep being blessed.
Absolutely.
That's why you look at a person like Gillies and Wallow, and your Noriegas and things of that nature who sharing wealth, your Charlemagne's, you know what I mean, all in this podcast space, because they're sharing wealth. You know, Cam talks about it all the time, that Gillie and Wallow's what helped him and Mace friendship and everything.
Just I was about to say, rekindle their friendship.
And be in business like this. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Now that Bleak got the show Rock Solid, you know, Nori and Charlemagne is what put Bleak on to that, because they're all under the Black effect. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when you start to look around, people back in the day, even these same guys, when they were coming up in the hip hop world, it was a competitive battle thing. It wasn't until later they started to realize, yo, let's stop going against each other and start working together. Like when Dipset came to the Rock, you know what I mean? It's like, you know how much money we can make if we bring them over here and things like that. They started realizing, but in the beginning, everything was a dog eat dog.
Mm-hmm.
So when you set the tone of being an example, a leader of success, because success is only how you see it. Success is you conquering a goal you was trying to reach.
Absolutely.
And then people got to understand, when you're trying to conquer a goal, you got to take steps at a time. Some people want to just jump up because we live in this microwave life we talk about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, regardless of what they're working on, and go from after I shoot my free throw, bitch, I'm supposed to be LeBron and lead the NBA all time scoring. Like you know what I mean? Or Mike can have 6 championships. Wait a minute.
Absolutely.
Wait a minute. You got to play one game first, bro. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You 9.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah.
Like, that's how it is.
because once again, they see the success, they don't see the work.
They don't see the work.
Right?
Right.
And so that's why I said, you know, and that's the microwave world that you're talking about,
Right.
microwave mentality that you're talking about. But I'll say this, you know, as a person who
What you got going the fuck on over there?
who has benefited from leadership.
Mm-hmm.
For a person that's out there right now, whoever's listening to this and watching this, if you want to know why you probably have not tipped the scale, gotten better, gotten closer to your goals and stuff like that, look at who you align yourself with, right? And then once you look at who you align yourself with, think about whether or not you're applying yourself, once again, to reiterate what I said a few minutes ago. If you're not feeding it, you're starving it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to. So if you don't have a leader in your life and you're not a leader, type of person, no matter what you want to do, you're starving it. And when you think about that mentality, think about it from the perspective of, well, if I'm supposed to be doing something and I'm not feeding it and I'm starving it, how am I any better than anybody else? And it's not about trying to be better than the next person, but it is trying to be the best version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we don't want to do self-reflection, because if we look at ourselves and we discover that we're not trying, that we're not doing things, and we run out of excuses, once again, excuses, when they become reasons, that's a problem.
Like I said earlier today, I'm the only person to get in my own way.
Yeah.
So when you realize that,
Yeah.
well, I got to make a difference,
Yeah.
then that's where success comes.
Yeah.
It's nobody's in your way. Nobody can stop God's purpose for you but yourself.
Yeah.
Because God still wants you to apply yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because you can't
that's
hide
what it is.
from you,
No,
right?
you can't.
You
You can't hide from you. You can't hide from God.
Right.
It's
so-
the
and
same
so-
thing. That's what I'm saying.
Right. And so with both those things being 100% accurate, at some point or another, like I said, you know, you got to ask yourself. Like I said, I had a conversation with a brother today that was telling me that he wanted to do something. What he wants to do is something that he's been passionate about for a very long time. Why hasn't he done it? Well, he hasn't done it because it's crazy, y'all. Every week he look at this picture,
I like.
and he really would like to jump back into that.
That was it.
that-
That was my birthday, y'all. It was my birthday about to be 4 years ago. And that was a fun night, man. I like that
Every
picture,
time you
man.
look at that.
That was a fun night. That's why I just started smiling, man. We had
You do it every time,
we had
every
a good
week.
time,
It
man.
was
You know
dope.
what? Because I ain't never said this before, right? I ain't never said this before. My birthday always became hard ever since Mom passed, right?
Absolutely.
And that was one of my funnest birthdays after Mom passed. Look at my face. I look crazy, yo. You like this, and you can see what you thinking to yourself, like, this dude here, man. Like, yo, it's his birthday, man. Leave him alone, man. Let him do
Nah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that I believe, like I said, man, we know what leaders are, and I keep going back to the leadership element of things, because I think that in order for us to be able to get to the next level, if we're not going to become our own leaders, then we need to get around leaders. We need to recognize what they look like. Need to be more accountable for ourselves. We need to be careful, because once again, I think our image of what success was yesterday is not what the image is today. I think that we look at things and we become comfortable, which I'm super guilty of, and I'm into that. And my comfort has stagnated me from being probably the greatest part of myself. But it takes somebody to say something to you. It takes a leader to be able to say, yo, you know, it's cool. Nobody gets it right, you know, the first time. Most people don't get it right the first time. And with that understanding, you know, you can make changes and adjustments. Align yourself with people that's going to be able to be game changers and difference makers for you. You know what I mean? Commit yourself. and make a decision to feed it and not starve it. I think if you do that, you'll be surprised how far you'll get in life. So that's just my thing on it. But I mean, you know if you're around them or not, and if you're not, it's probably the reason why you're not getting where you want to get to.
Absolutely.
We'll get to some questions, bro.
Absolutely, man. Which ones we doing?
What did we do last week?
We did Would You Rathers, I believe.
Okay, so let's go back to this or that.
This is another episode of This or That with the P Original and Mr. Influential Sports Podcast Show. I added new spice and sauce. Let the juice loose earlier. Let's get to it. Pause. What is he doing?
Yo.
You know what I mean?
Yo, man. Okay. Let's get to these questions, man. All right. Would you rather be the interviewer or the interviewee?
Interviewee.
Okay.
Yeah, interviewee.
We just had this whole conversation about leadership anyway, so as an interviewee.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what position that you would be filling, but if you were, why would you rather be the person who's conducting the interview? Versus
Oh,
the
I
other
had it
person?
wrong. I thought the interviewer was the one who leads the interview. The interviewee was the one being interviewed.
You are right.
Yo,
You are
okay.
Right. You are right.
Igbuka.
You are right. You are right. So you said you rather basically
I'd rather be the one being interviewed.
fair enough.
Because, you know me, I can lead through interviews and all that type of stuff. Put my emotional intelligence and my calmness. I don't care what question comes to me. But some people don't even want to be asked certain questions.
Right.
But I don't mind you asking certain things because I'm gonna answer it the way I want. Just be
That's
prepared.
cool. That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Nah, it's cool. That's how you feel. I mean, it makes sense to me. Would you rather, still in the spirit of talking about leadership, show or tell?
Show. Lead by example.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Best example is leading. This is why sometimes I can talk to people about certain things, and because they, Ice Cube pop, he like, yep. You can tell people certain things. Why is he over there? Why is he over there? It scared you, didn't it?
It scared you.
You know,
I wasn't talking.
I wasn't scared.
I'm sitting over here,
I knew what it was. You see, I just paused it. Just pointed at it. Why would I be scared of Ice Cube?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But why did you go right to the Ice Cube thing?
Yeah, no,
I just started laughing.
because I know Pop
He said
loud
he's
enough for
laughing
it to do a shout out in this thing, but what was I talking about, man? See?
You was talking about showing or telling.
Oh, it's a lot of stuff that I tell people, but they don't believe me because they be like, if he knows so well, why he ain't do it himself?
Mm-hmm.
Where we come from, we got to show.
Okay.
Because if you telling something,
From the
and
show
they-
me state.
yeah, and if you tell somebody something and they don't believe he over here capping.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus they make statements. You got to show me, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay. All right, man. Fair enough, brother. What matters more? Education or experience?
I believe experience because in experience you get education.
Okay.
A lot of times when we're taught stuff, if we don't, certain things we're going to learn and we're going to know forever,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I think we always used to ride with education because, and this is going to get deep, and some people are not going to agree with this. The generation before us definitely rolled with education because they felt like when you got a college degree, you was going to get a good job. And then the system and then the working world created something called overqualified, right?
Yep.
And then when you're overqualified and you start looking around and you start seeing certain people work at different places and they'll look and say, oh, this man has experience.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And some jobs even look at years of experience. Every 4 years of experience equals 1 year of college. Something like that. Something crazy like that. So
I've seen that.
yeah. So my point I'm making, experience is, I can't say that experience ain't it because we use the term, or we used to say experience is the best teacher.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if something's taught to you, you get that education. But just because somebody teaches me something doesn't mean I may know how it works, but doesn't mean I have the ability to do it.
I think no matter what education you have, you're going to need experience to get better.
Yeah.
Because I think that you learn things from a practical perspective
Right.
a little bit differently. Like when you study for a test and you pass a test, it's a difference between passing a test because of the fact that you got all the answers right or passing the test because, you got through the situation.
That's why a lot of these places and a lot of professions show that, okay, we want to do a written test and a physical test.
Yeah.
Because you could be the smartest firefighter in the world, but if you can't act on it,
Yeah.
you're not helping me out none.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that part I get. Like I
Yeah.
said, I think that you got some people, like I get the practical piece, and I say all the time, there's a lot of people that's out there that can study really well.
Yeah.
They're good at retaining information that's in books, and they take a test and it's handwritten or whatever the case may be, like they knock it out the park. And then when they're in the real world experience, they forget everything that they read because everything is faster, everything is realer, everything is intensified. So it's a little bit different. So I think that the experience piece to me is more of a benefit. I don't care where you apply that to. I just feel like that's the case. You know what I mean? So, because you learn a lot more when you're inexperienced. That means you're still experiencing things.
Mm-hmm.
You can get educated on certain things, like you said, through experiences. But I don't know if you necessarily get it the same way in the other one. Some people may feel differently. Like I said, I think if it applies to an application for a job or something like that, maybe people look at it one way. But I think in practical everyday use or just life, I think I'd rather have the guy who's a little bit more experienced.
Right. Because everything changes. And experience, again, experience is I'm not even gonna say the best teacher, but a great teacher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just say, oh, when this happened before, we got to do it this way. Or I said, if this ever happened again, I'm going to try it this way.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I watch you with the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
If you experience a technical difficulty, you read on it real quick, but it doesn't matter to you until you physically do it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
same thing with me with DJing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, when you see certain things, you go, all right, I know what to look out for.
Right.
I recognize that.
I
I've seen
recognize it now,
before.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Private office or reserved parking spot?
Private office. Private office. Reserved parking spots mean a lot to me when I have a lot to bring in. So, like, whenever I'm DJing in a big city,
Okay.
Philly, New York, something like that, and I'm literally driving, I need a parking spot for my, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Or I need a spot to reserve to be able to get in. But truth of the matter, I think private office would be better for me because me and environment is so big. It's certain things that when I walk into, I gotta get busy. Like I peeped out like you, right? When you in your zone and you're working, you're in a whole different area when you're chilling.
Absolutely.
You can't sit in your work area and chill, and you can't work in your chill area. It's possible, but you just don't do it.
I get what you're saying.
So that's
It's
you understand what I'm
definitely
saying?
possible.
But
Yeah,
the
definitely
environment. So
possible.
what I realized was starting to happen with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when we recorded Patio Vibes, right?
Absolutely.
When we recorded that.
Shout out to that.
Shout out to Patio
You know,
Vibes.
and all those who checked it out.
Yeah.
Share
Know
that
what I mean?
thing, like that thing, download it.
Right.
We ain't mad at you.
But
Add it to your playlist.
with Patio, when we recorded Patio Vibes, when I showed up to it and being in that zone,
Mm-hmm.
I get straight to work.
Absolutely.
Now, when I'm in my home environment, they're mixed. So I don't do a lot of work because I come in and I see that chair and I'm like, I'm about to sit down in this chair.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a lot.
So you got to separate them.
Yeah, and that's why, because there's a lot that can just like grab your attention.
So I always say, if I was to able to have that private office and take all my work to that private office,
absolutely,
I'll work so much better.
Okay.
That's why I want one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
let's do this. Growth or security?
I'm gonna go at this time of my life, security. If you look it up, they say a man becomes fully mature at the age of 42. And I think women are 30, 33, 34, maybe between 31 and 34 is crazy. They say women mature earlier, right? So before, when they used to say when we were young, well, it's a scientific fact that women mature quicker than men, they were talking about our physical things. Most women that go through what they have to go through as a woman before a man is going through what he's going through. You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of times, in most cases, but it's not all cases, men are usually the older one in the relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because of that level, when they match, it's a different level. But they say men mature at 42. So, depending what you're saying growth-wise, like growing in my career, of anything or what I want to do, that's cool. But I've always said, because it depends, again, that's how people measure growth. Some people look like becoming number one, meaning they hit the ultimate peak of growth. Right? But then you have some people that say, yo, this was their job forever. They made a whole career. It's like, when you think of this person, you can't never, when you think of this profession, you can't not think about this person. You see what I'm saying? Like, Michael Jordan was the ultimate basketball player, right?
Okay.
But as certain players, you'll sit there and say, yeah, I couldn't imagine a league without Reggie Miller in it, right? Because he meant something his whole career. He may not have been known as the best player in the league at that time. I could use something different, but I'm just using that for an example.
I'm almost like, what are we talking about at this point?
No. I said at growth.
Okay.
Some people think ultimate growth is becoming number one.
You did, okay.
But when you're saying secure, all right, we was talking about security.
I'm back.
But I'll choose security because as long as I got a position, I'm secure.
Okay.
Reggie would have been. Could you imagine Reggie Miller being cut from a team when he was playing? Nah, that's what I'm saying.
No.
That's what I mean. I could have used a better example.
No, you used the one. It was a great one. Yeah. I just for a second
we forgot we were talking about.
I forgot which one you chose between the two.
And
you was talking
about
it's
so
growth.
Funny though.
But I was with you.
You know you what? Because when you start losing,
I was with you.
Whatever you forget, once you realize it, but whatever you forget, you don't know what we talking about. Your face be a certain face.
Because I be trying to remember whatever one you selected between the two joints. Because if your point is like, yo, could you imagine it? And then let's just say NBA without Reggie Miller. Like, nah. Like, yo, he was profound in the joint.
Yeah.
But, like, not to be funny, bro, like, that analogy
I say
is like, that's what I'm like, damn, I'm trying to remember. Like, which one did he choose? I don't remember what he picked. Growth or security.
Because what I'm saying is.
But I mean, I got it once. Like, that's why I'm like, yo, which one is that?
What I'm basically saying is, I just use sports for an example because we was talking about sports heavy in this episode. But at the same time, when certain people are the measuring stick, people think the ultimate growth is surpassing them.
So,
or getting to that person's level. But somebody always got to be. But being secure is like, I'm consistent.
Right. So I'll say this in regards to the two terms, growth and security. First and foremost, my interpretation of growth is, evolution beyond where I currently am. Right. So evolving into the next phase of myself.
Right.
Right. There's growth there.
Right. I believe that.
You grew into the next phase of yourself.
Right.
Chapter of your life. Security is becoming comfortable with who you are. Right. Or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. It's like, I've reached this level. I'm secure. I'm ready to protect this. This is where I need to be. This is what I want to be. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So when I look at the two terms from that perspective,
right,
you look at it, you say to yourself, do you want to, what matters more? Do you want to keep growing? Or do you want to get to a certain place where, you're secure with where you are And that's that, which means security doesn't mean that you stop growing. It just means that you're looking around and saying, I'm good with securing and protecting.
I'm at peace.
I'm very much so.
Yeah.
At this
And that's why I said secure.
From that perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a basketball analogy to put with, but no, I'm just playing with you. Last but certainly not least, man. I'll wrap it up with this one right here. True fashion, time machine or a magic wand? Which one would you like to have?
Magic wand. I don't want to go back in time, and I don't want to go ahead. Because if you go back in time, man, you create certain ripple effects.
With the magic wand.
Ultimate peace. Give me ultimate peace in my life.
You're not going to be out there like E. Potter?
I never really watched Harry Potter. What was he doing? What was
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I'm not saying, you see how he say nothing crazy about it. I just said,
that was funny. He said, he was like, I don't know. I don't know.
That's why I know E. Potter.
Yeah.
That's why I said what I said. I know you better.
Who was E. Potter?
If you had a magic wand, you going to be E. Potter.
That'd be my name?
I mean, you going to have to name yourself. I just said that, you'd be a guy.
What happened to Merlin?
Magicians
got wands, man.
Yeah, you already Merlin. That's a whole different situation.
Thing about
you're not Merlin because of a wand, though. You Merlin because you figure out ways out of situations that a lot of jokers don't figure out.
What was the
so
question?
You're more like E. Dini than anything else.
What was the question again?
I told you, time machine or a magic wand.
Already got a magic wand, so I might be able to go in a time machine. That was another episode of This Is That. Brought to you by the Porch Podcast. Oh, man. Man, this has been episode 214, man, of the Porch Podcast. Do remember, man, you can hear all of your favorite episodes on all your favorite podcast and streaming sites like iHeartRadio, Audible, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and anywhere you listen to your favorite shows. Pete, tell them where they can see us at.
Each and every week, right on our YouTube channel at The Porch Podcast, DA Porch Podcast on YouTube. If you have not done so already, please do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share it, and leave comments because we will get back to you. As he said, we appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode. As always, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate you. We look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Y'all be safe, be blessed, family. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Who on the porch?
Let's go.